Anyway, so I don't know. I ended the other video by accident. So here it is. I did 3 rounds after I finished my increase. Actually, I did 2 of them, but I'm just going to show you how to finish it. I will take my last stitch. I'll go into the back hoop, pull it through, and pull it through like a slip stitch, and then go ahead and snip it. And you want to leave about 6 to 8 inches of tail, because you're going to use your tail to sew it onto the body, and you're just going to pull it through and turn it inside out. And then you see you got those ridges, and it actually looks like a reptile. Well, you'll see when you do it. It's just a cute little texture. So this is also how you do the horns for the monsters, but they work for little peg feet. If you want it longer and narrower, you can just do like this first increase after the 4 where you have 8, and then not do another increase, and it will be like, you know, like a carrot essentially. It won't be quite as big around. So what I would do for the beak, I read here. I wish I could remember what yarn this was. I think it's I Love This Yarn that you get at Hobby Lobby. This is just the nicest, softest yarn. It's real soft to wear, but it pills when you wash it. So if you make anyone something to wear that they're going to wash often, don't use the I Love This Yarn, because it looks like shit. But it's nice to work with. So, I'm going to do the switch up here to the 5 1/4 because of the number 4 worsted weight yarn. Instead of the magic ring on this one, I'm going to do, you know, leave yourself about 4, 6, 8 inches, however, because this, you're also going to use this to sew. So you're making your slip knot. And you're going to chain 2. I always, when I do the magic ring this way, I always hold that first one. 1, 2. You're going to yarn over, like you're going to do a half double or double crochet, and you're going to go in that first loop. And you're going to in. I don't use the double crochet a lot, so 1, 2, and then that becomes your magic ring that you work into. If it's something that's going to get yanked on a lot, I recommend it, or if you need the wider circle, and for the beak you're going to need a wider circle. That's why I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to chain up 2, because I'm going to use half double crochets on the beak. For the first row of the beak. So in my, you know what, screw it. We're going to pull that out. I'm going to do it the other way because it's just easier for me. But you get the gist. You know how to do the different magic rings. So I'm going to do the very awkward cast on because I can never do it as great as everyone else. Whatever. and I'm trying to talk quieter because of the TV movie being on. My voice cracks when I do, so whatever. When you do this, I don't know, like take your phone and get it. I have mine on my little stand, and try and videotape your hands. It is like really awkwardly hard. I didn't know it was that hard. Major kudos to the people that do the videos. Because it's like making a magic ring for me is awkward enough, and then all of a sudden. So anyway, I'm going to chain. I'm going to do I'm going to start with 5 half doubles, and I'm going to look and see how big that looks compared to the feet. So I'm going to do, because I want to have an odd number, I've got 5 on here now, so I'm going to do 2 more, and this will be the beak part. I think that'll be okay. So I'm gonna add my red now, and all I'm gonna do, and what you do when you do this, your working yarn, you always drop down, so your working yarn is always first or on your right, and then your secondary color is gonna be your first one to drop on the next go around. So if you were going to do this, you would have yarned over and gone through. So the way we're going to do it is we're going to yarn over, make sure you leave your tail, and I'm going to just carry my yellow. So when you yarn over, I'm going to pull all my yellows together. I'm going to go my first one, I'm going to pull it like that and pull through. I know there's other ways to do it where it doesn't end up as bulky, but I want to do as little sewing in these ends as I can. So boom, so you got one, so now you're going to drop that tail. And the tongue, it's really going to depend on you. I'm going to add my second one now. I'm going to make my tongue an out of 5. One, because this is a number 4 worsted weight, and this yellow, you can see the difference. So visibly, it will look aesthetically right doing, or it should. I mean, watch it just be a total epic fail, and I won't post a video. Okay, so now you want to find your yellow. That is your magic ring. I think it's this one. Give it a yank. Yep. So this is only going to be kind of look at that. Wah, 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 wah. Okay. So this will only be wonky for like maybe 2 rows. It's not going to take long. So here, remember we dropped the yellow, but seeing we're going to carry it, all I'm going to do is the same principle. You'll tuck your red behind and you'll pull your yellow up, and you're just going to work over it. So on this next row, I'm tucking it behind it. I'm working over it. You just won't see me working over it, hopefully. I am going to find my stitch, and on this row only, every row after this will do a decrease, but on this row, you're going to slip stitch, and you can either go 1, 2 and slip into the top of it, or you can pull it through, you know, the hole and pull it out. I just want it to be nice and tight, so I'm going to put it in, I'm going to pull it through 1, so you slip stitch, and then you're going to chain up 1. So what I was saying about this row and this row only, these 2 tails you can now just leave. You don't have to work over them, it'll be too bulky, but they're secure enough now. You can snip them off, whenever you got your scissors in your hand again. So you're going to go back in that stitch on normal crochet. That would keep you in balance, and you're going to do a single crochet, and I'm going to just work over this red. There you go, simple stitch, and I couldn't see it get a hold of it. So you're going to go 1 in each one, and then when you get to the other end, this is where we'll start our decreases, and I do decreases a little bit different. So, well, for a beak, something that's got to be pointed like this. And this is also the last row. You should have to work over the red. Because I'm doing the beak part first. Okay, when you get here, if you count them, you should have 10. So let's go ahead. 1, 2, I count this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know, I should have 10. Maybe I miscounted so I'm just going to add my 10th one here. No, that's right. I want an odd. Okay. So I like my work to be rounded on something like this, so I'll chain 1. Typically, to do a decrease, you would go pull through, and then hit it up over here and pull through, and then pull through both. Correct? And we're in agreement probably that makes this real harsh edge, and it doesn't make like a triangle, like a beak, look really nice. So you're gonna not do it that way. You chained up 1, and instead of balancing and working in that first stitch, you will skip that first stitch and come over here. Now, if you want it to be dramatic, you're going to slip stitch. If you want it to just be a subtle, you'll just do your single crochet, and then single crochet the rest of the way across. Try not to do what I did and just pull that red. I'll fix it in a minute. So I like to do my increase. It's not an increase, just keep your balance there, because you already did your decrease there. So you're going to chain up, and again you'll skip that first stitch, and you'll come in over here, and when you get to the end of the row, if you count them, instead of 7 you're going to have 5. So that's 2, 3, 4. Okay, instead of 9 you'll have 7. So here is where you did your first decrease. So you will, I don't want to chain up because I don't want this one to be real bulky. So I'm going to just turn my work. I always turn it towards my left hand, keeping my tension. I have found if you turn it the other way, it twists it wonky, and I don't like the way it looks. So I'm not going to chain on this one. I will stay on a live stitch, skip the first one, and then come in here and do my 1, 3, 4. Now when you do the red, you're gonna stop right about here, and you'll slip stitch in here. Instead of doing a full single, you'll slip stitch and cut off, because you don't want your tongue to be as big as your beak, right? Or your eyes to be, your stomach to be as big as your eyes. And again, I'm not going to chain one. You saw it. To catch myself, I'm just going to turn it. I'm going to go 1, and I'm going to just keep doing these decreases and all the way to the ends, because that's why I went odd, so you would have a single to end on. And it might be a little big looking, but I'll show you how to make it look smaller. Let's get that one. So it's just this one. Okay. So on this one, after I did my slip stitch, I left like probably a foot. And you can do it one of two ways. I'm just actually gonna sew that in, and I'm gonna take this, and as a finishing, I'm gonna take and slip stitch all the way around. Actually, I can probably do it here. Let's see what we get. You just gotta kind of find them. They're not going to be easy because they're not actually stitches on the side. They're the this is probably a really bad hack to show you, but and you could take it or leave it. I've got to go all the way across, so I'm going to pull my yarn through. I'm just going to take me a needle. And yes, I licked my finger, so it didn't just go magically flat, whatever. Why is everyone being so quiet? Where's Stitch it at, Amanda? Mandy. Amanda. Huh? Do you see Digit from where you are? I didn't mean to scare you. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to take and what I'm doing is getting in between the stitches. So basically you got the ones on this side and you got the ones on that side, and I'm picking up the two there and getting under them, and then over here. But the cheat is you come right up here, and if you get your needle right up there as you go, it'll just usually, because you're following, it's stupid, it's a cheat, but it works, right? And this also is what I was going to do with the tail, is take and weave it through each row. So what I've done is I've pulled it good and tight. Not too tight, because you don't want it like that, but you just want it, you hold it right there, so when you pull it, you want it, because that's how you're going to shape it. And then I will tuck under this one. And I'm going to just feel my way around. I'm going to come up over here. And then because where I'm at, I can go through here. Same principle. Watch me struggle. There you go. So anyway, just get it how you want it. I'm kind of gonna darn my end in a little bit, and then oh, I hope you saw some of that. I feel bad. I didn't realize the camera moved. Or I moved one. Okay, so whatever. Did you see any of it? If you didn't, just like, all I did was weave it. I stitched in here and I just went across, stitched it into there, and I went across, and then that way I could, yeah. And it's okay if it's wonky, because birds' beaks are wonky anyway, and ugly. And, you can darn it as much as you want. Just go back and forth, and it even kind of like billows it. So I don't have a banana, but I do have a crochet hook. So you got a crochet hook. Putting my finger in there, it looked like really big. It's, it's bigger than your fingernail, but it's not, next to your foot. It'll look fine. So now what we're gonna do, I'm just gonna, because I'm right here, I'm not gonna worry about them. So I am gonna worry about this red one. And I'm gonna pick up this little, what one did I use? I think I used that one actually. Yeah, because the red's a little bit more dense. So I just am gonna cheat. I'm gonna grab a hold of it. I'm gonna slip stitch, and that's gonna be where I join my. So I'm gonna go to singles here. Again, I'll go back into that stitch, because when you slip stitch, it doesn't count. That's one. And I'm gonna skip that side stitch on this one. I'm just gonna go under it. I'll just go under it right here with my first stitch. Now I should have 5, so we'll go. I did my first one, and then you got 1, 2, okay, and then it's the same principle. You just need to get the tongue to the point where it's half as long, and then do your decreases. So I'll just, I want it to be rounded, so I'm just gonna I cut my yellow tail off, and I didn't mean to. Just a habit. I was going to use the yellow to sew in yellow, so I'm going to look at, see, I've got pretty good tail here. So I'll probably use that tail to sew the yellow beak to the white body later. So I'm going to not go in here, and I'm going to turn it, skip the first one. I did just the 2 rows, 3 rows, just the row 3. So I just did the 2 decreases, and I'm going to end on a 3 because I want my tongue rounded and not pointy. Okay. So again, just pull it up so you can. And I'm just going to cast this aside with, you'll take your needle and you'll darn it, your tongue too, and then you're going to fold your beak on the right side of the work, and you're going to, that's going to, how, like, say this ball of yarn is the body, that will sew onto the body. So if you don't want the tongue that big, you wouldn't put your 3rd row on it. Or you, instead of doing 5, you would do 4. And I think if I were to redo it, I would take and I would do 4, and then I'd do my decrease to a 3. And then just do 1 more row at the 3, and then go around and either probably slip stitch. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to put that aside. You can sew your tongue up however you want to shape it, just like I showed you with the beak. And just, I'm putting it over with my feet. So, trying to decide which yarn to use. I think I'm going to use the worsted weight because it will be, it'll be easier. And that's probably what you're going to use anyway, so it will help you with your stitch count. So I don't have a 6mm. I do have the 5.5, and then my next one is a 6.5. In that picture, they look real squared, so I'm gonna, again, I don't have my measuring tape over here, but it's like 6-8 inches maybe you're gonna leave. And seeing it looks square, well, rectangle for the body, I'm going to cast on like I would for a hat. So I'll do my slip stitch, and I chain 2. And this is a fun cast on because it's a stretchy cast on, but it's going to work with that the ridging that they have on the square of that one. So you got your 2 stitches, and if you roll it over, of course you got your back humps. You grab this back hump, and normally I would pinch it and keep it pinched, but I was, talking. So I'm going to yarn over and go into that first stitch, and I'm going to pull through 1 hoop. Now, we're not doing a double crochet. I don't know what the stitch is called, but I love it. Okay. So you're going to pull through 1. And I put my hand right here. I'm sorry, I got the wonky nail polish I never took off. I hold my fingers like that, so I create a separation. And it's just more because if I weren't in front of the camera, this is how I keep this stitches, even the tension right, and I can work faster. So you've pulled through one, so you essentially have a single crochet here. You're going to grab that yarn and you're going to pull through all 3. Now I'm keeping my fingers here for a reason. You're going to yarn over. You're going to go into that hole I've been holding. Grab your yarn and pull it through. So now you got 3 on there again. Again, hold it, pull through 1, pull them all down so that, you know, this is going to start to twist. You'll see as you go in, grab the 1, pull through it just once. And I'm going to go widthwise, so I'm just going to crochet blindly, probably about, shit, I hate it when I drop one, because then you got to find the stupid hole again. And you can try it without holding the hole. It's just, I found it's easier for me in the way I do it, but it's just critical that you go through 1, pull that, you know, grab it again and go through all 3. So and you want a yarn weight and a needle weight where your stitches can be tight but not have the holes. So this actually works good. The holes are relatively small. See, I don't count that first one, so I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's go 8. 9. And 10. And then when I do 10, I pulled that first one through. This is going to keep it on the hook. So you're going to lay it down. You're going to grab your feet. Is that foot. So for that foot, he looks like babies. Madonna was here, 2020. You're too young to get that. So 1, 2. Okay, so added 3 more. Now let's add our Madonna parts again. And what I'm looking at, what I'm trying to see, because in that picture there's a gap between them, and right now at 13. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 more. So my number 4 worsted weight using the whatever weight the bamboo is, but as you can see it's a lot thinner. It is thinner, I promise you. So if I pull them both nice and tight, that helps, right? Okay. So for sizing it up for me, I'm going to add 2 more. 1. It's 13, so this is 14. Shit.
Amanda Sakuna or Jack?
Do what?
Sakuna or Jack? Which stream do you want to watch?
Okay. So then you got your 15. That's what I'm going to work with is 15. So I'm going to grab it this time. You know, you did your 1, so you got your 3 on. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to pull it all the way through all 3. I'm going to chain 1. I think I'm going to work them in half double, so I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to find that first stitch. And you're just gonna, however wide you want them. So I'm probably gonna do 3 rows and check it against the feet. So I'm just gonna pause this and be back in a minute. Oops. Actually, hey, I'm going to finish up these rows and I'm gonna go ahead and stop the video, and I'll start another one of just working on the white because I don't really like how this is working out, so I want to go ahead and play with something else, and if that works, it's super easy. It won't take very much to do it. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and stop this video and finish up. I want to show you something I'm gonna be doing too. It's not. So I'm on the last stitch, and this is that wonky one. I said I'm not really gonna count it, but you don't want to, like, it looks like shit. So I'm going to work it just like I work at regular crochet. I'm going to go under all of them and I'm going to pull it up. And do this every time. I don't like how it looks if I go under all of them. But I'm going, right here. I'm going to leave the one. I'm going to go through, you know, that half double. When I sew this in, I'm going to darn that hole right there so it doesn't look so big. So you actually end up with 16 stitches like that. It's fine. It's fine as long as it's in balance. So you're going to chain 2 because it's half double crochet. 1's not enough. You're going to go in the hole. Pull through. And then I'm just going to do like maybe 3 more stitches here just to, while we're on this, see how 3 is going to be wide enough for those feet. I got another idea on the feet too, but whatever. So there's your, so mind you, when you do this, your foot is going to have stuffing in it. So you just, gives you a little bit better of a visual. It's a little too much. No. I gotta do something else with the feet because I don't really see the blonde ambition to her. So anyway, when you're making dolls, that's also how you make boobs. It's not just monster horns and chicken feet. That's a boob too, just so you know. Or it could be a chalice or cup, or there's a lot of things that can work into an amigurumi, however you say the word. So anyway, I am going to finish this row, and I'm going to do 1 more row down because I think 4 rows is going to be plenty thick enough, and if we go thicker, it's going to look, you know, thick.